Okay, we're on air.
Okay.
Our talk show.
I know.
I'm going to be, reading stories, Reddit stories to Paige today. Okay. Should we just get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. This is from Am I the Asshole? And the title is, Am I the Asshole for not wanting my husband to take the Starbucks barista on a plane ride?
What?
My 43 female husband, 48 male, of 5 years, just purchased his first plane. He's had his license for about a year. Now that he has his plane, he's inviting to take people up. Last night, during dinner, he mentioned taking the Starbucks girl up. I say girl because she is in her mid-20s, which surprised me. Mm-hmm. She has been working there for under 6 months. This is the Starbucks he goes to all the time for a break. He takes my kids there, and we go too. He introduced me to her when we went in, and I didn't pay much attention because she was serving coffee at the time. I found it odd he invited her up, and she invited 2 other friends. He went on to complain about everyone he has to take up flying. I responded, maybe if you weren't inviting people up, you wouldn't have this problem. And that's when this began. My husband didn't like my response and got up from the table. We were finished with eating and just talking. He went outside and I eventually followed. I asked him if he was upset with me and he said, no, it's just that. And he stopped and said, never mind. I remained outside, giving him time to put his thoughts together, and he went on to tell me that I always get insecure when he talks to other women. I don't see this, but it could be true. I told him I found it odd that he invited the barista on a plane ride because he doesn't know her that well. That's when he explained that he always talks to her when he goes there and that it's nice talking to someone who's liberal in a state full of conservatives. Okay. He then continued that she is so liberal that she likes
What? That is so... I don't usually say this, but out of pocket.
Right?
Yes. What?
Why do you have to say it like that?
Yeah, that's vulgar and weird.
I don't know if he thought that would make me think it was less weird, but I found it even more weird because not all LGBTQ plus are liberal. Okay. We went further in the discussion, and I asked if he has her number, and he confirmed he did. I asked when the last time he texted her was, and he said when the news came out that Trump was being indicted 4 times. He texted me too, and I had to ask if he texted me first. Ooh. That would suck.
That would... No.
No.
That's just unacceptable.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Having a midlife crisis?
Yeah, literally.
Talking to a 25-year-old Starbucks worker?
Yeah.
Who likes pussy? What?
Okay, so where were we? That's when I realized I was sounding insecure. But in all fairness, he talks about when he sees his male friends, but never talks about her. I would react the same way.
Yeah.
After finding this out, I told him it just seemed odd because of his age and her age. I told him if a customer had asked me to go flying, I would find it weird and would be cautious and invite friends even if I were a lesbian. He said she invited her coworkers because she thought it would be fun. I don't buy it. And as a female who would say that to spare someone from I don't buy it as a female who would say that to spare someone from embarrassment. I told him in so many words that he needs to be careful. I didn't tell him not to take her up, but something doesn't feel right about the situation. Am I the asshole for not wanting him to take her up with her friends?
No.
Not the asshole.
No.
At all.
I think that he's trying to, sugarcoat whatever is going on between him and this girl. Even if there is nothing really going on.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like she did invite her friends or people that worked at Starbucks, too, to go with her because she does want to avoid an uncomfortable situation.
I would be nervous.
Yeah.
I would think that, I don't know, she said yes, so, but then inviting her friends, maybe she just thought it would be cool to go on, a private plane.
I think for me, if somebody invited me to go on their plane, I might be interested in going up in the plane, but I would, if I was nervous about it or worried about, like, him coming on to me, I would invite people with me.
Yeah.
And
I almost feel like in any situation where a guy is inviting a girl to be alone with them, that feels weird.
No, it feels weird, for sure.
It's like
you
it's
don't
a
want to be
date
alone.
yeah.
With a married man.
Yeah.
You don't want to be alone with a fucking married man if you have a good head on your shoulders.
And remember when he said she likes pussy? Maybe she told him, like, oh, I like pussy.
Oh, to, like, kind of, like...
To make sure he know, like, maybe he was flirting with her. Mm-hmm. Because I would do that. I would be like, I'm a lesbian.
Yeah. I'm not worried about her intentions. I mean, from this story,
the girl's intentions.
It doesn't seem like she has bad intentions, but I'm worried about his.
I'm worried about his, too.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't sit right with me. And also, she said that he always tells her about when he's hanging out with guys.
Yeah.
But never mentioned her. Yeah. And he has her number and texts her.
Yeah, no, that's inappropriate.
Yeah, I don't think she's the asshole.
No, and she was like, now I sound insecure. You're allowed to have concerns. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how long they've been together, but I feel
5 years.
5 years? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not even that
Married
long.
for 5 years.
I feel like even if you have a lot of life experience, like, it's easy to still be gaslit in some situations to where you think, oh, am I coming off insecure? But I think it's important for people, women and men in a relationship, to remember that you are allowed to have concerns. And if you are legitimately concerned about something, it is valid and you should be able to bring it up with your partner.
And their response shouldn't be that you're being insecure.
Yeah.
If you have concerns.
And if they're calling
that's a red
insecure,
flag to me.
Mm-hmm. If they're calling you insecure, that's them being manipulative. Mm-hmm. Potentially. I mean, I think. I
agree. Like, I fully agree.
Yeah. I don't know. He sounds like he's being manipulative. Mm-hmm. And he has bad intentions.
Mm-hmm. And he's trying to make her feel bad for wondering why he's taking up a Starbucks barista in his new plane.
That's
without
weird.
Her. Like, it would be different if he was like, why don't you and your friends and me and my wife?
Yeah. Like what? Do you have a partner? Like, if you're, like, bring your partner, and then me and my wife and you and your partner can go up in the plane together and, like, I don't know, make a new friendship. That seems nice and sweet. And, like, I don't know, not every man has bad intentions. Yeah. I think the way that they, like, structure things matters. Mm-hmm. Like, if they're trying to do a couples thing, it comes off more innocent. And I don't know. He just sounds like one of those guys. Mm-hmm. One of those guys that, like, I have encountered many times in my life that I don't trust and I stay away from. Mm-hmm. That's why this barista girl shouldn't be hanging out with a married man at all.
I also wonder if she only said yes because of, like, the pressure being at work and him being a customer. Yeah. Like, I've definitely been in that situation before.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Where it's just like, oh, yeah, can I bring my friend? Like, I don't know. Like, her, like, maybe she's not even planning to actually go do it.
Yeah. I agree. Mm-hmm. I think I've felt that pressure at our old job. Yeah. And I've been, like, really nice. You have to be nice. You have to be. Customer service is important. And that's what we're trained to do, is be nice no matter what. The customer is always right. Yeah. And it's like...
And so many men want to flirt with a woman who's working, and then there's, like, a power dynamic. Yeah. And I feel like it's really unfair.
It is. Yes. Mm-hmm. I hate that.
Me too. When I was working there the first time around a few years ago... Mm-hmm. There was guys that would hit on me, and I wouldn't know what to say. And I had this friend who also worked there, and she literally forced me to practice with her. She's like, okay, I'm a guy hitting on you. What do you say? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, no, say thank you. I'm very flattered, but I'm at work, and I don't like meeting people through work. Yeah. And then so I was like, okay. And we kept doing it until I could say it with a straight face and not get embarrassed or forget what I was going to say. So then I kind of had this line memorized, and it helped so much.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We had to sell things to people. And, like, we're supposed to be nice and sell them those things. Mm-hmm. And, like, I don't know, the nicer you are, the more you sell.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of rich men coming up to us and pursuing us, and there is a power dynamic.
Yeah, because you want them to purchase something so that you don't get in trouble, because they implemented a new rule where you'd get like a write-up if you weren't hitting your sales goals.
Yeah. That is so much pressure
and if you
on
got
top
3 write-ups, you're fired.
Yes. That's so much pressure. And I don't think that they realize that, like, putting a female, a cute, pretty female, in a position like that, it can be compromising for them. Like, we are put in situations where oftentimes guys did come into the store just to talk to us. Like, they would pretend like they were going to buy stuff.
Yeah.
And then they would take, like, 30 minutes just talking to us and then not buy anything.
No, that was the worst. And they would act interested in things. They'd be like, oh, so what do you recommend for this type of workout? Or, like, what do you think of this fabric? And, like, you'd not just be chatting with them. Like, you were, but you'd still be talking about the clothes and, like, what the shop had to offer for them to buy.
Yeah.
And they sit there and pretend like they're interested in it, and they're just not at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They're interested in you.
Yes, exactly. They would come and pretend.
And it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then you get to a point, like, I got to a point of cynicism where any man that walked in, I was just like,
I'm not going to deal with it.
I don't even care.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's so bad. I feel bad. But at the same time, when you come across that so much, you do just get tired of it. You start to expect it.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't be surprised if she just said it to, like, make him happy, or she didn't know what else to say in the moment and was caught off guard.
Yeah.
And just is always nice to him.
Yeah.
Because she works there.
Yeah.
She has to be. Especially, I worked at Starbucks, too. And I worked in the drive-thru, and my manager told me to be more friendly. And that was so weird, because that was always, like, the one thing I always did right in every job.
Yeah.
That I was so friendly.
You're so friendly.
And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, if they seem like, basically she told me if they seem like they're done talking, bring up another thing. Like, if I already asked, like, what they're doing today, do you have any plans this week? Like, she wanted me to continue. And I was like, that's not being more kind. Like,
yeah. What is that? What is the intention there? I'm like, what is that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe she was just trying to give you some advice to seem like she was a badass and she knew what she was doing in her job, and trying to coach you to be like, oh, I know this. I know how to handle customers and you don't. So let me tell you how to.
I was literally like, babe, they don't like it. When you like, if
you're talking too much,
if they're short with you for a reason,
yeah,
because they're trying not to talk. They're just trying to get their coffee.
Yeah, they don't want to tell you their life story, and that's okay.
But I could see her managers maybe being like, always please the customers, always be super nice, and
yeah, I don't know. I
wonder.
I think that girl is probably innocent, but I don't know.
Should we look at the comments?
Yeah, Des, let's see if there's updates or comments, because I need to know if, like, they go, or if she declines, or plans change.
Okay. The first comment I see, I don't know how to tell if it's, like, the top comment. Do you know how?
No.
It has 1.2K upvotes. It says, my ex-husband is now married to his friend who happened to be a lesbian.
My ex-husband is now married to his friend?
Who happened to be a lesbian.
What? Wait! Stop. So they ended up in a relationship?
Yeah.
Stop! What the fuck? No, is that right?
Yes, that's what she's... Well, not... No. This is a commenter.
Oh!
Not this story.
I was like, is that the wife being, like, sarcastic or something?
No. Someone commented telling her that their ex-husband... ended up in a relationship with their lesbian friend.
Oh, dude.
So he could be lying that she's lesbian.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're saying.
And then he could be lying about the friends coming along.
Oh my God.
That could have been a lie. Yeah.
I didn't think of that. Okay, and then this person said, my ex-husband is my ex because he, as an almost 50-year-old man, cheated on me with a 20-something Starbucks barista. They were still together, but his last 2 wives left him for cheating.
Dude. Yeah.
So everyone's like, don't trust him.
Yeah. And this girl wanting to go on the fucking plane with him. Okay, maybe she isn't as innocent as I thought, because maybe she's like, he owns a plane. He owns a plane.
I didn't think of that either.
Yeah.
Because
he's like a rich, older
rich,
man.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is my opportunity
to
go and try to get a rich older man.
Oh
I work at Starbucks. I need a rich older man to take care of me.
He's gonna be my sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Maybe.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised of that either, because I feel like there's a lot of people that operate that way.
Yeah. Maybe he's just been lying about, like, her being gay. Her...
so he can hang out with her with no issues.
Yeah, exactly.
And her friends coming.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe he's just lying.
Maybe.
But that's weird. He introduced her to the wife.
Well, I guess.
Well, because they all went in.
They all went in, yeah. So then you'd kind of have to.
Yeah.
This other comment says, I was an older barista, former, and it was crazy how many older men thought flirting with me seemed normal to them. As opposed to the cuter younger baristas, no disrespect to my younger, more beautiful baristas, flaunt it, I did. From what I saw, they always brought their significant others on the weekend to show how harmless the interactions were. But let me tell y'all, they never acted the same. It was disgusting, and I had one particular guy who kept asking me if I ever wanted to go to our favorite, to do our fave hobby together. I was like, nope. My husband wouldn't care because he trusts me, but I care, and out of respect for my spouse, that's a big no. If the spouse of OP can't see that, I'd be worried. Guy stopped coming in after that.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think as a 25-year-old... I'm not even 25, I forgot.
It's okay,
I always forget my age. Okay, whatever.
Recently, I said my age was 23.
Dude, I put 24 on my, like, medical thing. I was like, what? I don't remember anymore. Anyways, I think as a person within the same age range, if I had a married man coming on to me in any situation, I would respectfully say, no, I can't hang out with you because I don't think it's appropriate.
Yeah.
I don't think it's appropriate. I wouldn't want your, whatever situation you're in with your wife, whether you're together, separated, or struggling or not. I just don't want to put myself in that situation, and I hope you respect that.
Yeah.
And if I am in a relationship, I'm like, even more, like, get the fuck out of my face. I don't want to talk to you. Like, I'm not talking to you, and I have no interest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Do you think male-female friendships aren't a thing? Like, and can't really make sense?
Well, me and David, I feel like, are friends because...
But you guys would never hang out
without
alone. Me.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, like hanging out with a guy.
That would
be wrong. Like one-on-one. That would be wrong.
That would feel so wrong. Unless you were, like, trying to plan something for you.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, doing something that you can't know about yet.
Yeah.
But... No.
I don't think they work either. Like, I think one person will always have feelings.
Yeah.
For the other person. If you're hanging out one-on-one.
Yeah.
Going on someone's plane.
Yeah. No, that's too intimate. And I don't know. I feel like I can make exceptions for, like, people. It just depends. It's case by case. But generally, I have a problem believing that men and women can just be friends. But usually I have really good intuition about, like, somebody's intentions. And I don't know, like, my ex had a friend, a girlfriend, a best girlfriend. And at first I was trying to be okay with it because I'm like, this person was here before I was. I'm not going to get mad. They've never hooked up. They've never had any intimacy, according to him. And I was giving him the benefit of the doubt and just believing him. And one time, his friend just kept calling him, and she was calling him all the time, and he was, like, answering, and, like, she would be crying and upset. Like, saying, I miss you so much, and you don't ever hang out with me anymore. She was, like, crying, though. And I was like, I don't do that with my friends. Like, I don't
No.
call you crying,
Mm-hmm.
begging you to hang out with me because you don't hang out with me anymore. Like, that just...
No, that's so weird.
Codependent.
Yeah.
And even if it was platonic, I think there's still some sort of, like, codependency in that was unhealthy. So I was like,
it's
hey...
too codependent to be fully platonic.
Fully platonic, exactly. Like, maybe it's, like, emotional. There's an emotional connection that was just, like, uncomfortable or just crossing a line. But it was too much for me to, be able to trust him. I was like, this is weird. There's a weird dynamic happening. And, you know, having a girl crying, calling you, begging you to hang out. Like,
if somebody called David, a girl called David crying, begging him to hang out, that he never hangs out with her anymore, I'd be like,
what
who the f*** is this?
Yeah.
And when did you hang out? And why is she crying?
Exactly. What's going on? Why is she crying? Like, I've asked 100 times for us to all hang out together so I can meet her. But, like, he was like, oh, I need to hang out with her first. He was like,
to get your story straight?
Yeah, right? He was like, I want to hang out with her first, and then we can all hang out together. And I was like, well, I'm not comfortable with that. I think if you guys are really homies, like, let me hang out with her and get my first impressions, and then if I'm comfortable with y'all's relationship, then you can go hang out
Separately.
Yeah, separately. Like, go
feels so weird to me.
play
David.
sports or some
Go
I don't
play
know.
sport.
Go do something bro-ish so I'm not
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Don't go on a date or
Don't
like,
go get coffee.
I mean, even coffee's fine, but like, I don't know, what's something too intimate? Like going on a drive together.
Yeah.
Or like
going to the bar.
like go meet up somewhere and like hang out and like talk, catch up. But I don't know, don't make it too weird because then I'll be thinking. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot better about trusting. It's just like case by case. Whenever I feel something is off, I'm gonna be like, okay, these are my boundaries. You respect them, or you're getting the out. I don't care anymore. Yeah. Like, don't walk all over me because I won't. I just won't handle it.
When you've already experienced that, you don't go back.
No, I'm over it. I'm like, I won't deal with any of the bullshit anymore. I feel like I have a cat hair on my nose.
I know.
Do I? Do you see it? Right. Something's tickling me.
I haven't seen a cat hair. I don't see one.
Okay. My makeup is all fucked up too on my nose because it's dry.
I can't even tell from here.
Good. Okay. Sorry.
I know. When I'm wearing makeup, I never want to scratch.
Yeah.
I don't want it to, like, take off the makeup.
Know. And I have this Rare Beauty. You did a Rare Beauty campaign. I'm wearing Rare Beauty foundation.
Do you like it?
It moves around a lot. So it's very, like, lightweight, but kind of, like, full medium coverage.
I think that's what they used on me for the shoot.
Yeah. But it, like, moves around a lot, I noticed. So, like, if I touch it, it's going to leave a streak on my nose. It annoys me. But it's okay. I mean, I like lightweight stuff, so...
Me too.
I just try not to touch my face.
Which is good, because you shouldn't touch your face.
I
struggle with that.
touched it all over.
You're doing it lightly, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's an update.
Okay. Oh, wait, what? We're still on this fucking story. I'm like,
We're still on this story.
Now I get why 2 hot takes is so late.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the update. My husband wasn't in the best mood this morning because I posted this on Reddit. He accused me of going through his phone because his notifications weren't on his main screen.
He was hiding his notifications. He turned off his notifications.
And he forgot.
No, he was like, you shouldn't be able to see any of that because my notifications aren't on.
Wait, no. It said, he accused me of going through his phone because his notifications weren't on his main screen. Like when you open the phone and the notification goes away because you clicked on it.
Oh.
So he thinks she was snooping.
Maybe she
but
was.
I feel like that's a red flag. If you're getting upset that your partner is snooping through your phone.
Yeah. What do you got? What do you
have
upset about? Yeah. I don't know.
Like,
dude.
if this were actually innocent and...
I'd be like, here, honey. Yeah, what are you
and even if I
about?
woke up and I was like, oh, those notifications were there, David must have gone through my phone. Oh, that's so cute. I need to let him know that, like, it really is innocent.
Yeah.
I
would think that, too.
Yeah. I'd be like,
I'm
honey.
like, you can have access to my phone anytime you want.
Yeah.
Anytime you want. Just take it. I don't give a
to ask.
I want to look through yours too.
Yeah. Okay, where were we? We're on his main screen. I didn't go through his phone because we're all entitled to privacy. Knowing he wouldn't say no, I could always ask to go through his phone. Okay, that's good. Mm-hmm. I do think he is excited and inviting everyone up. I don't find it appropriate for him to take someone he met as a barista who he barely knows up on a plane.
Yeah.
Even with friends of hers that he doesn't know. I think he's putting himself in a situation where accusations could fly. No pun intended. Or his intentions could be wholesome but compromised. I made the comment that he won't mind if I go too. Does she mean like, then you wouldn't mind if I come too? Like maybe. Saying if it's
then you wouldn't mind if I go too?
Yeah, like that. Mm-hmm. Okay. He asked me if I got that off of a Reddit comment. He's an asshole.
Dude.
He's an asshole. And I told him no, that I texted that to him before the comment was made. He accused me of lying. Why is he accusing her of things
being
now?
Defensive.
He's guilty.
Yeah.
I'm sure he checked the timestamp by now. He did tell me he didn't mind and that I would need to find a seat. Huh?
You would need to find a seat, honey.
I'm
not going to save one for you. No, I'm sorry, that's for the barista. The fucking co-pilot seat is not for you.
I think my husband knows me well enough that I will be taking the front seat.
Yeah!
So he's saying you need to find a seat in the back. What is this?
You need to find a seat on my plane. I'm not going to reserve one for you. You're not special enough.
And then she's saying you can see just as well out of the side windows, like in regards to her. So that's all it says. Let me go to the profile. Oh, it's deleted. They deleted it.
She's probably gaslit hard as fuck right now.
I wonder if I can find any type of update somehow. Like real update. Because I'm not satisfied.
Yeah. That just sounds like he was getting defensive.
Yeah. That's major red flags.
I just don't see this ending well at all. I think he's being shady. Period. He can't dig himself out of this hole.
No. I agree.
He's stupid. I don't trust people.
I don't think we'll be able to find anything else.
Yeah.
But that's that story.
Interesting.
I don't trust him.
No, I don't trust him either. I have a hard time trusting in general, but it's not because I'm 100% cynical. It's just because people act like that. And then what does that look like? Imagine if I was acting like that. I mean, I would definitely be hiding something if I was acting like that.
Oh, yeah, same.
I don't know. If I'm 100%...
Because nobody just acts like that as their personality.
Yeah. If I'm innocent, I'm just going to be very forthright. Like, you can do whatever you want. I can do whatever you need me to do in order for us to feel secure and for you to feel safe, because that's my priority in life.
Yeah.
Like, my relationship, I'm choosing this for life. I chose to have children with you. I'm like, we have so much invested, so whatever it takes to keep us comfortable, let's do that. Not, I want to take this girl up for a fucking flight and forget all about what you want and how you feel, and I don't care anymore, and you need to stop being so insecure and stop looking through my phone. Like, stop. Yeah.
Literally.
Get your priorities straight.
Up. Yeah.
Or if you don't want to choose your relationship anymore with your wife, exit the relationship. Go out with a 25-year-old. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Like,
make it fucking decision.
Other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Don't drag people through the mud with you.
Facts. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
That
was a good one. Yeah. How long? What are we at? We're going for 30 minutes. Hell yeah. I was hoping these would last longer.
It helps us be able to talk.
Yeah, because we riff.
Yeah.
It's so good. Okay. So now I'm going to have you pick which one. Okay. So I'm going to read a few titles.
Okay.
I won the lottery and it ruined my relationship with my boyfriend and my family. And then, am I the asshole for breastfeeding in front of my conservative family to prove a point? Or Moved in with my fiance and want to break up.
Moved in with my fiance and want to break up.
You want to do that one?
Yeah.
Moved in with my fiance and want to break up. I, 30 male, have been with my 30 female fiance for 4 years. That's a long time. Started dating and everything was going great. Eventually, after 3 years of dating, I proposed and she accepted. I traveled to Brazil to meet her family. Everything was going well and we were both satisfied and in love. That is until we moved in together, renting a house, getting a dog, the whole thing. We have a few minor disagreements, but I chalked it up to getting settled and adjusting to each other. However, after a year together, we still aren't married, and I find myself falling more and more out of love with her romantically by the week and can't understand why. We went from a healthy sex life to basically being a dead bedroom going 6 to 8 weeks in between instances together, and it's often due to my suddenly having no sex drive to be with her. I'd have liked to be married by now, but there's a ton of forms that she has to file and she just won't start them. I feel myself loving her, but it almost feels like a super close friend to the point where I've felt urges to end things and just start dating again. It's so frustrating because I don't want to do this, but I can't see myself spending the rest of my life in this relationship based on what it's become. We've tiptoed around the topic, and I'm sure she's frustrated as well, but neither of us can figure out how to communicate what's happening, and I hate how we've come to this point. So this is a true off my chest post.
Mm-hmm. So
they've been engaged for 3 years? Yeah.
A year.
Oh, wait, a year.
Yeah. A year. And they decided to move in and get a dog.
Mm-hmm.
They are piling things on really fast. Or just all at once.
Yeah.
When they haven't really been through anything like this together before.
Mm-hmm.
And he's falling out of love with her. And have they tried to communicate?
I don't think.
I feel like...
Yeah, it sounds like they're not really communicating. They're tiptoeing around the subject.
Yeah. And now he's probably feeling trapped. He made a decision to propose, and now he's like, well, now I have to follow through. And there's so much pressure. But it's like, if you really want to make something work, you're going to do everything you can to try to make it work.
Yeah, and you have to communicate how you're feeling and see where the other person's at.
A lot of men have a hard time with that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes women, too.
Yeah. It's hard because it's more vulnerable to communicate how you feel than to just keep it silent and then slowly start, what's it called?
Resenting?
Resenting
Uh-huh.
the other person.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's resentment on both ends because he was saying how there's like papers she has to sign for them to go through with getting married.
Mm-hmm. And she hasn't started it
hasn't.
yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wish there was more context as to, like, what is bothering.
What are the arguments?
Yeah, what are the arguments? Are you just expecting that being in a relationship with somebody is supposed to be happy all the time?
Yeah.
Because that is unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
Being with somebody, being in a relationship comes with ups and downs. And, it, you know, for me, in my mind, when you commit to somebody and you're wanting to marry them, that is for life.
Mm-hmm.
I know that a lot of people treat relationships as though they come and go, especially nowadays. But I would like to believe that when you want to marry somebody, you want to be with them for life.
Yeah.
And that still exists. And if this person and his wife or fiance are having a hard time dealing with conflict or changes, maybe they just need to take more time trying to figure out how to move through conflict together.
Yeah.
And see if they're able to do that together.
And not rush
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah. And
I feel like this is a couple, since they've been together for 4 years, like, I feel like they could benefit from couples therapy.
Yeah. I would think it's a great option. And maybe even just individual therapy to try to
definitely.
figure out themselves
What it
and their
is.
styles of communication and what is holding them back in their own lives.
Yeah.
And what they expect from life.
Because it sounds like the main thing that changed is just them moving in together. And now they have a dog, so, like, they're kind of tied together by that dog, and they rent a house. They're both on the lease. But that's the thing that changed in the relationship. So I wonder if them having different places to, like, go separate from each other, they were so used to that for so long that now that they're always in the same place, they're, like, maybe one of them is, like, emotionally monitoring, like, that type of personality where it's like, are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
And they're not used to seeing them at, like, every second of their day normally.
Yeah. It almost seems like both of them, I mean, from the very little context we have,
we don't know much.
Both of them are avoidant because they're not communicating.
Yeah, no one's trying to communicate.
Yeah. And I don't even know what that's supposed to look like in a relationship. Two avoidant people in a relationship, don't they just end up breaking up?
Yeah.
Because they're not willing to work through things together?
And there's so many things to work through in any long-term relationship.
Yeah. And you're right. They would benefit from therapy. Couples therapy. I really advocate for people to get into therapy on their own first.
Individual therapy in general is so good.
Yeah. I feel conflicted about couples therapy.
I just don't support couples therapy if you haven't been in a relationship for that long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I know that there's some people that believe that, like, as soon as you get into a relationship, you should be in couples therapy together. And I don't believe that that's true. Like, I don't think that you should. I think you should see if you're compatible in that way.
Yeah.
But I think that if everything was going swimmingly for 3 years and then he proposed and then the shift was them moving together, there's things about them living together that's making the relationship not feel right now.
Yeah. I'm just a huge advocate for people getting their own therapy first because although you're in a relationship, you are two individual people. Yeah. And honestly,
how long do you think they should do, like, if they both got individual therapy, do you think that alone should be the thing that helps their relationship, or is there a point when it's like, oh, maybe now you should get couples counseling?
I feel like doing your own individual therapy for like 6 months to a year and making discoveries about yourself would be very helpful. Yeah. And then if you make enough discoveries about yourself to decide, hey, maybe I need to separate myself from pursuing this huge commitment right now to try to continue to work on myself, then I think that's a healthy decision. But trying to, like, get into couples therapy to save something that you don't know what's wrong about it. Yeah. Like, maybe there's something wrong within yourself that you should discover first.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
And then even if you decide, like, oh, I've done this much work on myself, I'm more ready to pursue this relationship and figure out, how to make this work more. And we should get into couples therapy too. And I feel like that would be helpful for us. I feel like that's a good move too. Yeah. But
because it involves communicating.
Yeah. I'm very conflicted about couples therapy because ultimately there aren't a lot of therapists who are entirely ethical. That's so controversial of me to say, and I'm sure a lot of therapists would be like, what are you talking about? But I've seen lots of therapists in my adult life so far, and even in my childhood, that I just felt like weren't abiding by the ethical code or whatever code they have to follow in order for things to be ethical. And it just left me feeling like they were using me to make money. And I feel like when you're in a relationship and doing couples therapy,
it's easily exploitable.
Yeah, it's easily exploitable.
Yeah.
Like the therapist wants you to stay together because you're their clients, and they're going to continue to make money off of you guys trying to make it work.
I've heard a lot of stories about with couples therapy, like the therapist takes the side of the narcissist when there is a narcissist.
Yeah, I think you told me that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Or maybe I saw it myself.
Maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, it's hard to,
because they almost get like tricked.
Yeah.
Too.
I feel like a good therapist would be able to identify that, but a lot of therapists are just humans as well, and they can make mistakes too and not be able to identify things. Therapists are humans. Let's not forget that. They're not fixers all of the time. They are prone to mistakes, and ultimately it's up to you to decide what you're going to do with your life and not take everyone's advice all the time. This person isn't going to always fix your life. I had to learn that. I felt like I was taking my therapist's advice, not the current one that I have, but this one therapist's advice, and my life kept going down and down and down and down, and I was like, what is happening? Isn't therapy supposed to fix me? And then I found a therapist that was more objective, looked at things objectively.
Yeah.
Is that the word that I'm looking for? And she wasn't giving me, like...
She was letting you come to your own conclusions.
Yes, she was letting me come to my own...
Instead of telling you what you should be doing.
Yes, and then kind of being like, okay, and if you're choosing to take this route, how do you think it will end for you? And I would think about all the possible outcomes and be able to decide more clearly on what the best route to take was. And that is so helpful. That's so helpful to have just somebody to, like, echo you.
Yeah.
And then you can hear what you're saying and hear what decisions you're going to make and have somebody, like, help you work through all of the possible outcomes and not try to, like, tell you things to just try. It's like acting.
Yeah.
It's like when you're in an acting class, there are teachers who will be like, they're the director, you know, you're the actors, and the teacher will be like, try it this way. And then you're like, okay. And you do that a couple times, and then you're like, wait, but why am I trying it this way? You're just telling me to try it a different way. For what reason? And then there are teachers, coaches, acting coaches who will be like, let's try a technique instead and help you understand, like, how these different ways of thinking might change the way you do something.
Yeah.
And instead of just somebody giving you a note and telling you to take it because they want to see what happens.
And do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just, I think it's a better way to coach someone or therapize them by helping them understand what they're doing or understand, like, if you use this technique or try life this way, think about how it might affect you.
Yeah.
You know, think about it first. Just analyze things and come to your own conclusions before you just try something or do something that somebody tells you to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just have a hard time with thinking about couples therapy. 'Cause
I do too. Yeah.
I feel like it brings people back together that maybe don't necessarily need to be together. So I think it's better to find someone who's naturally compatible with you.
Yeah. And I think couples therapy, I think the main time it's really, really helpful is if, like, you have, like, you've lost a child together or something.
Yeah.
But before that, like, your relationship was, but you guys are grieving differently.
Yeah.
Like, I think at that point.
Yeah.
But other than that, I kind of don't think it's necessary. I almost think you just need to break up because you could find someone who's more compatible to you in an easy way.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that much of a fight. Like, relationships aren't easy, but it shouldn't be that much of a fight.
Yeah. I agree. And these are just our opinions. We're not telling anyone how to live life or do anything. You do what you want to do.
Grain of salt, please. Take this with a grain of salt.
But it's I don't know. I hate when people just give up on something. But I think what's most important is figuring out yourself first over anything. I think when you get into a relationship, you almost forget that, like,
you're a separate person.
You're separate people. Yeah. You are separate people. Go figure out what's going on in your mind first before you start projecting all of your problems onto somebody else, because you're seeing how somebody acts.
Figure out how you think.
Yeah.
And
this guy is like,
communicate better.
And this person is like, there's something I don't like about them.
But I don't know what it is.
But I don't know what it is. You don't know anything. Figure it out. Figure out yourself. Figure out how you view the world. Go do some
soul
deep thinking.
Searching.
Yeah.
Do something. Reflect on yourself, too.
And figure out what you want in a partner.
Because it's almost like victim mentality with the way that he wrote it.
Yeah.
It's like, I did this, and I went to visit her family in Brazil, and now she won't sign the papers, and it's like, okay, but what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing?
We haven't had sex in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you doing, though?
What are you doing? Yeah.
What's on your side? Like, she hasn't had sex with you, and she hasn't signed the papers, and she didn't appreciate that you visited her family, but what about you?
Yeah. What are you doing? Yeah. We all need to get out of this victim mentality and just, like, do what we have to do in order to improve our lives. Yeah. Because if you don't do that, you'll never end up anywhere.
And that way, you're on your own. Like, you can be supported by someone, and that's the best case scenario, is they support you in your growth. But that is your own journey that you have to do by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should we see what the comments are?
Yeah.
And if there's any updates. Okay, so the top comment with 1.6K upvotes says, so on one hand, the entire reason why people recommend living together before marriage is to test out how you do coexisting. Living with someone is very different from staying over a lot, but still having a home to go to at times. So finding out you're incompatible, living together is perfectly acceptable reason to break up.
Yeah.
I fully agree with that. Yeah. And I think that's so true. Like, you have to live with your partner before you marry them.
Yeah.
I'm not religious, so I don't believe in the things, like, religion will hold people back from that.
Yeah.
But I've known people personally who regret marrying their partner because they didn't have sex with them before they got married because of their religion, and they didn't live together before because of their religion. And if that's your religion, you do, what feels right for you. But for me, I just could never take that risk. Yeah. Because that's like I take marriage very seriously. And I would rather find out first. Yeah. But I know that religion gets in the way for some people, and I don't know where I was going with that, but
yeah. Well, yeah, whenever, in some religions you get married first and then you figure it out all later. And that's scary.
Well, because you're committing to things you don't know.
Yeah, like it's like an arranged marriage.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah. And that's scary. I've always thought that's...
I don't know how people do that. No. I would have too many fears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I feel like you have to stay in something because it's what's expected of you. And, it's a very old way of doing things. And some people choose that, and that's their choice. But personally, we wouldn't do that. We couldn't do that because I think it is very important to know what you're getting yourself into.
Me too.
So that you don't become miserable and potentially even end up in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, because you just don't know.
Yeah.
You have no idea, and so many people are completely different behind closed doors. Yeah. So... especially, like, if you live with your family and you see each other, like, they see you, like, at your family's house or at their family's house, and then you get married and you have your own house together, like, you don't know what they're going to be like because you've never experienced that with them.
Exactly. There's just too much room for error. You need to, like, learn each other for as long as possible before you commit.
Totally. Yeah. I totally agree. And
I mean, commitment to, like, being together forever.
Yeah.
Not commitment to monogamy or whatever you're choosing. Yeah. I hate when people are like, oh, I don't know about this relationship, so I'm not committed. We're just in an open relationship.
Yeah, no.
Stop with that shit. Stop it. I'm tired of it. I don't want to see it anymore.
Yeah,
Non-committal
seriously.
people. It's like, if you're going to choose to be intimate with somebody and, you know, have sex with people, and sex opens up this door where it creates all these chemicals and hormones and
So much stuff that you literally can't control.
Yeah.
It's biological.
Yes, and like opening that up with somebody, it's like, I think if you choose to do that, sure, some people, two consenting adults can have sex and decide we're not going to pursue anything, you know, emotional. That's okay, whatever. But I feel like when you're in like a situationship, and obviously you have two people and they keep coming back for more, but you're like
teetering on the edge.
Yeah,
of,
you're staying far away from any real emotions. It's like, maybe we should stop doing that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it just...
Especially if you're a person that wants that commitment and
Yeah.
that long-term thing and that love and that romance.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in you're not going to have it unless you have space for it.
Yeah.
Like if you're filling that space with something else temporary because you're scared to be alone and you're scared to feel what it feels like to not have like that crutch of another person,
or the crutch of validation.
the validation,
Yeah.
then that person that you are hoping for, A, it's not going to be that person that you're using as a crutch, and B,
You're hurting that other person by using them as a crutch. That's sad.
and even if they're hurting you too,
Yeah.
then you're probably hurting each other.
Like, if somebody's using somebody for, like, temporary relief of, like, feeling insecure or just, like, entertainment. Sex is entertainment. You know, there's one person using, and they're like, oh, I keep coming back to this one person every time I want attention. And then there's one person where it's like...
They want something more out of...
They want something more, but they're just trying to, like, appease the person who doesn't want to be in a relationship, and they're trying to, like, be like, oh, I don't either. But ultimately, you know, that's hurting both of them, but ultimately the person that's allowing that other person to just suck them dry, they're enabling them to not heal a part of themselves that needs validation all the time from, like, having sex with people and not committing. It's like, I feel like the person who's pursuing somebody that they just want to have sex with and no emotions, but, like, know that that person likes them and wants them, it's like they're trying to fulfill this thing within themselves that is deeply insecure, that needs needs somebody to want them and need them, but they're not going to give them any of, you know.
Yeah.
I used to do that, to where I was, like, hooking up with people who, like, I knew that they wanted me and needed me, and that felt good to me. But that is such an unhealed part of me, or it's healed now. I would never do that ever again. I don't need anyone's validation anymore. But it's like a lot of people do that to try to fill this hole of, like, wanting to be needed, wanting to be validated, because they've just felt so insecure most of their lives and their childhoods.
And both people are getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
dysfunction.
wins.
It's dysfunctional. And I really hope that a lot of people are just more cautious with how they pursue those types of things. I just think it's very low frequency, low vibration activity. Like, let's just all focus on ourselves.
Yeah.
I think trying to learn more about yourself all the time, that's going to help us get through this life and become great people. And if you do want to end up in a relationship in the future, you're going to know so much about yourself and what you want,
that you're not going to let yourself settle for what doesn't feel right just because you want to be with someone.
Exactly.
Anyone. It's not going to be like that anymore. You start to get more picky.
Yeah.
And then you end up in a relationship that's fulfilling on both ends, where both people know who they are and also can continue growing with each other over the years. That's like the old couples we all want to be that we see out and about or on social media. There's these ones where like people make them about their grandparents, and it's like their grandparents being lovey-dovey over the years, and you can see them aging together, or like their old pictures, and you can tell that they're so in love and have just supported each other in growing up and growing old. And I mean, really I want that.
I want that
I feel like everyone deep down wants that. I don't know, I just don't understand how you couldn't.
I know, I agree. I ultimately, bringing it back to the story, I just think that this person has a lot of self-work to do. And the other person in the relationship has a lot of self-work to do.
Both of them.
Before they end up trying to commit themselves to a marriage.
A perfectly reasonable reason to break up.
The
rest of the comment says...
Or go to therapy and figure it out.
Yeah, seriously. So he said, finding out you're incompatible living together is a perfectly acceptable reason to break up. That said, you can't even clarify what it is you don't like. Why do you feel like breaking up? Time to stop tiptoeing around this and have a conversation. Sit down, hash things out a bit. Are you really suggesting you'd prefer to walk away from a 4-year relationship, which at one point was so good you proposed, over having a difficult conversation?
That
is kind of crazy. It's kind of wild to just be like, I'm thinking about breaking up, and you've never talked about it.
It's just
people do that though.
Simply communication.
And then they get back together, and then they break up and get back together.
Stop breaking up and getting back together.
If you broke up, it's for a fucking reason.
Yes.
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
Respect it for what it was. Even if, like, you're going to get those big emotions once you break up, and if you really cared about this person, you're going to be like, oh my God. But if you ever, like, actually in your right mind, or not even your right mind, just in general, like, you thought, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore, and you acted on that thought, and you weren't in a relationship, don't go back. You just trust the reason, even when all your feelings and attachment floods back in. Like, you have to just trust that, like, this happened for a reason, and
it's case by case again.
Everything's
case by case. Like,
case by case.
Who knows? Some people have probably broken up and gotten back together, and they have the healthiest relationship now.
True.
We don't know shit. But I don't know. I just feel like these people are acting like little kids, and they're not talking.
I think they just need to talk.
They need to talk,
And if they end up breaking up, they end up breaking up. But they might end up patching it up.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? But it seems like they have a lot of growing to do.
Okay, let's see. What else? Talk to her. What the hell, dude? What kind of relationship is this that you guys can't sit and have a conversation about it? Nothing will get solved like this, and both will end up miserable and hurt.
Exactly.
You're telling me you're 30 years old and don't know how to say, hey, I really wanted to be married by now, and I felt like you dragged your feet, and it's been really hard on me emotionally. I've even considered whether I want to continue this relationship. I think we either A, break up, B, go to therapy, or C, work on getting married within X months. And someone said, talking would solve a lot of problems.
It's just as simple as talking. And then also figuring out what you think. Because it seems like they just don't know what's going on, why they feel the way they feel.
Yeah, this guy has one comment, and he said, okay, so this is the comment he responded to. You're standing at that hard, uncomfortable crossroads where love isn't enough to hold it all together, aren't you? It's not the grand fights or explosive moments that got you here, but something quieter, something that's been slipping through your fingers little by little. When you first moved in, you probably chalked up those small disagreements to growing pains, normal things that couples deal with. But a year later, those minor things have become the cracks you can't seem to ignore anymore. The dead bedroom, it's telling you something. The emotional distance you're feeling, the dwindling connection, it's not just about sex, and you know that. It's a symptom of something deeper. The relationship has shifted, and the closeness that once felt romantic now feels like a friendship. The hard part is you still care for her. You're not falling out of love in a way that's easy to recognize. It's more like you're slowly waking up to the realization that this isn't the kind of love you thought it would be. And that's what makes this so difficult, right? There's no villain here, no betrayal, just two people who've somehow lost the spark, the thing that made you want to spend your life together. The idea of the future you had, it's starting to feel more like a weight than a dream. You're frustrated because it's not just about the forms she hasn't filled or the marriage that hasn't happened. It's about the fact you're not seeing a path forward that feels right. You've already started imagining what it would look like, what it would be like to date again, to find someone who reignites that part of you that's gone quiet in this relationship. And it's confusing because logically you shouldn't want this to work. You should want this to work. You've invested years, met her family, even gotten a dog together, but emotions don't follow logic, do they? And then there's communication, or rather the lack of it. You both feel it, this distance, but neither of you can seem to put it into words. You're tiptoeing around each other, afraid to be the first one to say, maybe this isn't working, but that silence is only making the gap wider. Here's the truth. Avoiding the conversation won't make it any easier. The more you wait, the more resentment and frustration builds. You need to talk, not just about where things went wrong, but about where you're both at now. Be honest, even if it feels terrifying. If you're feeling more like best friends than lovers, that's something she deserves to know. And maybe she's feeling the same. Maybe she's just as confused, just as stuck, but doesn't know how to start the conversation. You're not doing either of you any favors by staying in something that no longer feels right. The love you had is real, but sometimes love changes. Sometimes it evolves into something you didn't expect. A deep friendship rather than a lifelong romance. That's not failure. That's life. The real challenge is deciding whether you're willing to fight for what's left or whether it's time to let go. Time to let go. Either way, the only way through this is to talk. Start there. And OP said, Jesus, you really nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he did nail it. I think, or she, whoever it was, or they, whatever. But that sounded like some advice I really needed when I was younger and feeling that way in a relationship.
Mm-hmm. That's really good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I've done so much work on myself that I can identify.
Mm-hmm.
I can identify what I'm feeling, what I want, who I am in a relationship, what's holding me back because I do so much self-work.
And I feel like that's something, this advice and like what you learned how to do that and take that and do it. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's something you have to learn once.
Yeah.
Like you learned that once and you learned who you are and what you want and what you need, and now you can communicate it. And I feel like that for me too. Like I definitely feel like there's points where I do not know how to communicate how I feel, and I feel like I'm walking on eggshells and resentment's building. Yeah. But then once you face it, it's kind of like there's no other option after that because it's not that scary. Yeah.
It's about facing it. Mm-hmm. It's about not burying what you're actually feeling. Let's address it. Mm-hmm. Let's address it, because the more you try to bury something, the worse it gets, and then you start feeling like you're gaslighting yourself.
Yeah. And even if the results aren't what you want, you'll still feel such a sense of relief and like a weight lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah, exactly.
So, OP, talk to her, communicate. You got this. No matter what happens, you'll be okay.
Yeah. Everything is fine. Life isn't that big of a fucking deal.
It's not that deep.
No.
Like, we're just here. We're so tiny.
Yeah.
Also, like, the planet is also really tiny.
Yeah. We're just tiny.
We're tiny.
Yeah.
Smaller than ants.
And our lifespans are so short. Let's
know.
just try to be as happy as we can and enjoy every moment. And
spend it with people that make us happy.
Yeah.
And learn about ourselves, because there's
ourselves. Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's so much data in each and every one of us that makes us who we are, and we always have, like, we were born with this data, and like some of it has been created through what we've experienced, but we have to get to know ourselves. Like, that's almost all of our top mission. Yeah. Is just to get to know who we are. Yeah. And we're always evolving too, so we might change, but there's some core things that really help to just know about yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that's all we have for that story and our stories for tonight.
Yeah.
This is our first episode.
I liked it.
I liked it too.
I
It
feel
was
like
fun.
it was easy to talk with you about all these crazy things.
It's always so easy to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's so hot in my apartment because
I know.
we can't have the AC on because it's too loud. I've been dying.
Oh,
I'm like,
dude, I'm sweating.
I'm like, hopefully I just look dewy.
I know. You look fine. You,
You
look
look fine,
perfectly
too. You
fine.
look
Okay,
perfect.
good.
This podcast is produced and filmed by David Pichkovsky.
Yes.
My boyfriend.
Yes.
He's
The
my
mastermind behind
The
everything.
mastermind. Yeah. And we're finally doing this. I feel like I've teased on my social over the past few years that I'm starting a podcast so many times, and then I never release anything.
Dude, it's just good things take time, and we needed to figure out.
I feel like we
A
even
format.
needed to grow.
Yeah, for
Like, we're
sure.
so different from who we were 3
Oh my
years
God,
ago.
yeah.
That was 3 years ago, the first one we ever filmed.
Wow, yeah.
And never
My
got
opinions
put
have
out.
changed so much.
Me too. I don't even
So
want to know
much.
what I said in that podcast. I'm so glad that never came out.
Dude, I don't even remember what we said.
I don't remember what we even talked about.
Yeah, I
But we
don't
had a
remember either.
subject. Like,
Yeah.
I remember I wrote down subjects and we
Yeah.
chit-chatted. But I remember feeling so nervous.
Yeah.
I was way less nervous this time.
Dude.
I
I
was a little
feel like
nervous
I
at
was more
first.
nervous this time than
I was a
last
little
time.
I feel like my voice was shaky in the first story. I don't know if you noticed.
I didn't notice, but I was wondering if your hands were shaking.
Oh, I didn't know.
I didn't think they were,
I don't
but
think they
I
were.
was like looking for you being nervous.
You're like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was fun.
Yeah, I'll
Let's do
bring
this
some
every week.
Yeah, I'll bring some next time so I can read them to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll each prep a couple.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Yay.
I love you.
This was fun.
Thanks for listening and watching.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.